הנשיא טראמפ הוא ידיד גדול מאוד של מדינתנו. מנהיג שעשה דברים שלא נעשו קודם לכן, והיו צריכים לעשות בתוקף הצדק והאמת.
I think it's a wonderful first step in the follow-on to his recognition of Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, which I'm very proud of. I think many in the United States think it was a brilliant decision, and we're going to give some effect to it and life to it today.
Good day, beloved. Today is a very important video and I want you to share it with everyone. YouTube and Facebook shadow ban my posts, and this is a very important video and I would like to ask you to share this video with everyone that you can. I've touched briefly on this subject also in other videos. But today the mystery will be revealed to you. Mount Hermon, where Satan and his fallen angels will be cast down, Revelation 12:12. It says, rejoice ye that are in the heavens and those that dwell in there. But woe to the people of the earth and the sea, for the devil is coming down unto you, and he is furious, for you only have a short time left. Only a short time, people. That's 7 years. Satan will be cast down, not in the last 3.5 years. Satan will be cast down from the beginning of the 7 years, beginning with the wrath of God. And that starts with the sixth seal. Revelation 6 verse 17. That's where the wrath of God begins. Yes. And that's also where the bride of Christ will be going up. When Satan comes down, he will be cast down to Mount Hermon, a portal. And that is also where Satan was cast down, fallen. Jesus said Satan fell, he says in his day, he says Satan fall down like lightning. Where did he fall down? To the earth. Now what is he doing in the second heaven? That's when man sinned. When Adam and Eve sinned, the dominion was given back to him, and he moved his place back to the second heaven. And last week I discussed a video, Jesus' crucifixion, and NIBIRU and Bashan. They all connected together because Satan is staying in the second heaven on these planets. NIBIRU, they always call it the Anarchy. The Anarchy is actually the fallen angels, people. And they are on the planet X, which is called NIBIRU. But God called it his seventh planets, his seventh, yes, that is what he called it. The 7 stars. That is what he called it. They call it in Amos 5, verse 7 and 8. And we're going to read it yourself. I'm going to include that video for you. And I'll also include other videos for you that I've already done in the past. Yes. And in this video, I'm going to deal with, I should give you a brief summary of Enoch, the book of Enoch and the Watchers. And then we're going to discuss the tribe of Dan, the prophecy of Moses and of Jacob to Dan. So sit back, watch this video, do not switch it off. Please do not switch it. It's going to be quite lengthy. Won't be so long. I'll try to keep it at 30 minutes, but stay put. And the mystery will be revealed to you. What happened to Dan? Why Dan was not included in the book of Revelation. It's not actually what you think it is. And in fact, I'm going to include that video of the 144,000. Very few saw it. I think it's only about 400 people that watched that video. And that actually revealed the reason why. And that is the mystery, why Dan was excluded. It wasn't because he sinned at all. And I must tell you now, Dan was sterile. That's what it is, but that you will reveal it in that video, in that book, in that video, the full story. It's very interesting, people. So let's continue. I'm going to give you a brief history of today of Enoch, chapters 1, not chapters 1 to 6. Introduction to Genesis. This is a content 6 to 11. Story of the angels, the watchers, cohabiting with human females and producing a giant offspring. The giants begin to eat man and mammals. Listen, they were big, tall. The Goliath ranged from 11 feet, and these other, the other fallen angels, the Nephilim, they were demons. Let me put it, demons are not angels. Fallen angels have the bodies. Demons are actually the Nephilim, which is the children of human beings and fallen angels. I hope you see the point. Get that right now already. Now the giants begin to eat man and animals. Noah was instructed to build an ark. Raphael is told to bind Azazel. That of course is God's angels. Gabriel is ordered to destroy the children of the watchers, and Michael was instructed also to bind the watchers. And these are the watchers, and they were all 200. These were not all 200. You must remember Satan, when he cast down, as I said, he was cast down to the earth first. And of course, when sinned, and he got dominion back, and where he lives today is on those planets, as I mentioned. Watch that video if you study it again. And and all these 200 who descended in the days of Jared. Now, Jared were one of the lineage of Jesus Christ. And these are the names of the leaders. Samlazes, the leader, Araklaba, Ramiel, Kolebelel, Tamlel, funny names, Ramlel, Denel, Ezekiel, Barekjal, Aziel, Amos, Batriel, Ananiel, Zakiel again, Semsapil, Satiriel, Turiel, Jamjiel, Sariel. These are the chief of the tens. By the way, my angel's name is O'Neill. It also ends with this I-E or the E at the end, O'Neill. So that is, now you know my guardian angels. And sometimes you have more than one guardian angel. And I can sense in time, when I feel them, I can sense where they're standing as well. Now, as I said, these are the chief tens. These were part of the 200 angels. They were not part of Satan. These are additional 200 angels that left their habitation, as Peter would say. And they were cast down today. They were kept in a bottomless pit, and they will come back in Revelation 9. And these guys, actually, I tell you, they're going to oppose Satan. Yes, that's another mystery there. Let me not go on that subject. There's another one there. Yes, some of the other names of these fallen angels now. Azazel, he taught them about weapons, metal liturgy, and the cosmetic. And this is where all these weapons come from, the harp, and what they are currently doing with their Hadron Collider. And then you have Sanjay, he spells and casting, Amaros for spell breaking, Barakujal, astrology, Kabbal, ancient history, Ezekiel, knowledge of the clouds, Arikiel, science of the earth, Shamsil, science of the sun, Sariel, course of the moon. And Enoch 6 verse 5, 7, 1 says this, and when the sons of men had multiplied in those days, beautiful and comely daughters were born to them, and watchers, sons of heaven. This is also Genesis 6 verse 1 described this as well. And saw them and desired them, and they said to one another, come, let us choose ourselves wives from the daughters of men, and let us beget our own children. People, Satan have a son, and Satan also have 4 principalities. And I always wonder about Apollyon and Abaddon. Could it be that Abaddon is Satan's son? I don't know. I'm just speculating, people. But Satan copies everything from God. The only thing that he cannot, but is in the flesh. So Apollyon will possess the false prophet. Abaddon will possess the Antichrist. And by the way, it's very important that you learn this. All of you, everyone that I come across, just talk about the Antichrist. Go read Revelation 19 verse 20. Go read it, please. The Bible names, give the proper names for the Antichrist and the false prophet of the book of Revelation 13. Go read it. It says there that they will be cast alive, which the Bible calls the beast, and that is the Antichrist. And then secondly, the false prophet with him. However, the false prophet will rule first. The false prophet is the Jewish Messiah, people. And I'm going to name him again in this video. You already name him. You know who I believe is the false prophet. Yes. And of course, these guys, they descended onto the peak of Mount Hermon. Yes, and this is to the part of the study. United Nations base appears to be built on the summit of Mount Hermon. Why does the UN even need a base on top of the highest mountain between Syria and Lebanon? You tell me. Are they waiting for somebody? I believe they do wait for somebody. They know the Bible better than most believers in Christ know. They already planned everything from the beginning of time. Satan copies God, and Satan gives it to the elite. You listen to the rest of the story and you hear the truth today. They waiting for somebody. They waiting for the false prophet to arrive and Satan to give him power. That is what they are waiting for. Mount Hermon, biblically, historically, and even today, in our present age, is a place of spiritual importance, people. The very place where the rebellious fallen angels, that is called Satan then, fell when they were cast down, were cast from the presence of God. And the exact location also where Jesus Christ proclaimed himself as a Messiah through the mouths of his own disciples. It's the very place where Jesus made himself known at Caesarea Philippi. That's where Jesus made himself known. The very place where the transfiguration of Moses, Elijah, and Jesus Christ took place, people. Did you know that? The very place, people. This is very significant in that he was making this proclamation in the face of his enemies. And in that video, Jesus screamed out on the cross that the dogs of Bashan is encompassing him. In other words, they biting into his flesh. They are torturing him. That's what Jesus say in Psalm 22, people. That is what happened on the cross. The bulls of Bashan. Moses made known of it. That the Antichrist, not the Antichrist, the false prophet is coming from that region. Mount Hermon, at the base of Mount Hermon, near the statue of Pan, the grotto of Pan, which represents Satan. Now both Jacob and Moses prophesied, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. And Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. Hey, I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. That's Genesis 49, 16 to 18. With this prophecy of Jacob concerning the tribe of Dan should be compared with that of Moses recorded in Deuteronomy 33 verse 22. And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion whelp. He shall leap from Bashan, from the Golan Heights, from Mount Hermon. That is where he will come from. He shall leap from Bashan. Moses prophesied that the Jewish Messiah, which is the false prophet of Revelation 13:11, will come from Bashan, the Golan Heights, Mount Hermon. And that is in the Bible. It is to be seen that both that is Moses and Jacob predicted evil of that tribe around. There seems to be a cloud of mystery. And today the cloud of mystery will be revealed to you in full. Yes, there is no such a thing that we cannot know who the Antichrist is or the false prophet is. They already revealed, people. They are revealed at 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3. With the apostasy, they already revealed. And in 2018, Donald Trump made an announcement to the Jews, and they expect, the words were expect, the rabbis expect an announcement from the Messiah. And that was the announcement. That the Golan Heights, Mount Hermon, belongs to Israel. That was his statement. And this is the place where Satan will come down, where Satan will give power to the false prophet. The Antichrist or the beast only rules 3.5 years later, and he received power and he continue. That is what the word says in Revelation 13 verse 5. Putting together the several prophecies of Jacob and Moses, we find two traits met in Dan. Treachery, a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, cruelty. Dan is a lion whelp. He shall leap from Bashan, the Golan Heights, Mount Hermon. That's what the word says. In Judges 18, the Holy Spirit has recorded at length how these predictions received their first fulfillment. The attack of this tribe on Laish was serpentine in its cunning and lion-likeness in its cruel execution. Remember Dan? Yeah. There in the desert. Yeah. Then it was that Dan leaped from Bashan and from the slopes of Mount Hermon, which was in the territory of this tribe, like a young lion and like an adder springing on its prey. In Joshua 12:4 verse 5, the Bible says that Og, king of Bashan, Golan Heights, Mount Hermon, which was of the remnant of the giants, his kingdom was at the base of Mount Hermon, in verse 5, and reigned in Mount Hermon. He was king of the giants, the Amorites, at the time of Exodus. Mount Hermon is the place where the watchers came down, the 200 watchers came down and started a kingdom and took wives according to the books of Enoch and other historical accounts. So it is no coincidence that the last remaining giants would have their kingdom set up where they originated in Mount Hermon. And you look at the city Astaroth, where Og dwelt, it is the same name mentioned in, and I believe, the Norwegian gods Odin and Thor of their dwelling place. In actual fact, it was Nero who first tried to rename the place Bashan into his name. And I'll share it a little bit later downwards when I get there. The book of Enoch 200 watchers led by Saturniel, that's Azazel, and some MASHIACH, descended on top of Mount Hermon and made a pact. So happened the UNA has an outpost there that located on the 33rd parallel. As is cracked in a dome. CERN, that is another weapon. CERN, they're trying to open the portals, by the way. That is their objective. But it will not happen until Jesus allows it. In fact, Michael Jackson's dangerous cover exposing the Illuminati reveals the alien in the animal kingdom, the genetic engineering of, for example, Splice, the golem, and the clones. Also during the ministry of Jesus, he and his disciples visits Syria, Philippi, where the Jordan River springs forth from the slopes of the Mount Hermon. And as Jesus looked at these walls here, these walls that you see here, one can see the grotto caves where Baal worship was in full swing. While observing these shrines here, Jesus posed this question to the disciples: Whom do you say that I am, that I, the Son of Man, am? And Jesus was standing in that territory of the great enemy, Satan, and his idolatrous Nephilim. The false prophet would arrive from this very place, people. This very place, that's where the false prophet will come from. And his name is already appears on the Jewish temple coin, people. He will build the temple for the beast, for the Antichrist to sit in a temple in the last 3.5 years. The false prophet, the Jewish Messiah, is a spokesperson for the beast, the first beast of Revelation 13 verse 1. And the Revelation 19 verse 20 says there in a word, and the beast and the false prophet are taken alive and cast into the lake of fire. The second beast, the false prophet, Revelation 13:1, is the Jewish Messiah, people. His name already appears on the temple coin. The Jewish rabbis even named the Golden Heights, and you saw it there in the beginning of the video clip. You saw it. The Jewish rabbis even named the Golden Heights after Trump Heights. Now Nero wanted to do the same thing. He also renamed it after his name. And another man came again, and of course the rabbis named it this time after they already know who he is. But he first had to pass certain tests. He have to pass certain tests, and that is what the Jewish rabbis believe. He must comply with all those tests. Yeah, and with that in mind, albeit the United Nations has strategically placed the biggest and most important base at the very top of Mount Hermon. The highest point, people, the highest point. The exactly where the fallen angels landed. Where Satan and their fallen angels landed. Where the watchers landed, people. That is a portal, I believe. So I believe that God controls Satan and his movement. You must understand they are in a second heaven, and they, according to Job, they must get permission from God. And that is why he's continually before God in heaven requesting things about you. Only God can allow what Satan wants to do to you. Yes? Only God can allow Satan, and that's why Jesus said in the word, let them go. Yeah, that's in the word. Sometimes Jesus just gave them over to Satan. That's true. This is a place where ancient Baal worship took, and the blood sacrifice took place. Exactly, the place that has been spiritually marked as evil. Now we come into the French connection, and we see that Macron won the second term as well, and he is the one preparing the European Union. He is preparing it right now. He is also the European president at the present moment. And in 1666, that's fine, that's amazing, 666 already been revealed. Louis the 15th, I hope this is correct, I always just can't mention the Roman numbers, of France authorized the building of an observatory in Paris to measure the longitude. This was in the beginning of the Paris Zero Meridian. Believe it or not, according to the Paris Zero Meridian, Mount Hermon and the ancient territory of Dan is located at the 33, exactly the same east of the Paris Zero Meridian longitude, and 33 degrees north of the equator latitude. The 30 degree became an important part of the Freemason, probably due to history that dates back to the Knights of the Templars, the French Merovingian dynasty, and their family ties to the Danonites and to the Danonites. And this King Louis, he is a relative of the false prophet. And all the presidents of the United States is of the bloodline, all the presidents, people. And one of them, the false prophet, has the strongest bloodline from all of them. The false prophet copied Louis the 15th's palace. Go look at a combo of the false prophet. It's a replica of Louis. Even the hair, this is of course his son, that is Louis. They even resemble each other. Looks quite dainty with the legs and stuff there. This is one his son, this is his grandson, and this is one of his the grandson's daughter. Yeah. And this, of course, this is his wife. Yeah, so they are all related people. The Masons, the Jesuits, all of these, the Freemasons, they all related to each other. Let's continue with the tribe of Dan. Jacob prophesied that Dan would be a serpent, by the way, and Edda in the path. I read that already to you. And Moses prophesied Dan is a lion. Well, he shall leap from Bashan. These two prophecies are remarkable in that they connect Dan with a serpent, the seed of the serpent. The seed of the serpent. Genesis 3 verse 15. From which the false prophet, the Jewish Messiah, will emerge to claim the title of Lion of Judah. Now Samson partly fulfilled that as a judge, judging Israel. But there will come another one who will judge Israel in the fullness. Yeah. And Samson's father was, listen to his father was from Judah, and his mother was from the tribe of Dan. Now the rabbis expect another one, what's a similar situation here. And the false prophet, GJT, fulfills that prophecy. The mystery is solved. In the book of Judges, the Danites relocated to the northern reaches of the promised land. But let me just say here, Dan and Judah were the largest of the tribes. And in actual fact, Dan is almost as large as Judah. So the Danites received the smallest portion of the located land, and that is more towards the coastline. And it was so small that some of the Danites moved to the north. Now let me say this, not all the Danites are of the Nephilim. My mother is from the tribe of Dan, by the way, and so many of you are from the tribe of Dan. The 12 tribes mix into all the population of the world. And I think I must make another video on that to explain to you what I'm trying to say. Yes, these and later Dan moved to later to the north part of Mount Hermon. And that is where they settled, and that is where they got involved with the Nephilim. They settled at the foot of Mount Hermon in the territory of Bashan and adopted the idolatrous Canaanite religion of Baal and Ashtaroth. Eventually they left for parts unknown and became the proverbial lost tribe. They are not lost today, people. They are in every part of the world. However, the Danites, which is also called the Spartans and Greeks, established the same religious practice that the Danites had developed on Mount Hermon, which is Greek mythology. It's an elaborate reinvention of the Danite religion. The Spartans invented a messenger of the gods and called him Hermes. And remember, even what his name was called Mercury Barnabas, and Paul was called this as well. A variation of Mount Hermon, whom the Roman gods called Mercury. Suppose Hermes had a son named Pan. Now the name Pan could be a corruption of the name Dan. Also noteworthy is the fact that we know that there is a pure corrupted bloodline through which Jesus entered. And we all do know that, into this world through Jared, from Adam, through Seth, all through that line came through Noah, came then through Jesus. That's the uncorrupted Jewish bloodline that exists today, will play an important role during the wrath of God. Of course, which you call the Great Tribulation. I call it the wrath of God, which is 7 years, which is the wrath of God, not the Great Tribulation. We're all going through tribulation and Great Tribulation right now. What the church and the people are going through in Ukraine is Great Tribulation, people. Great Tribulation. That being said, Satan also had his pure uncorrupted bloodline through which the false prophet and the Antichrist will enter into this world. We must remember, people, that Satan is a master copycat, a manipulator, the father of lies, and a great counterfeit artist. Everything God does, he duplicates. And as I said earlier, he has a son. In the dark spiritual places, in order to deceive people and deceive the world. And right now, the false prophet is deceiving people. He is at work. He is at work, people. The bloodline has been kept alive today, beginning with the fallen angels and the Nephilim. Yes, whom are now present through the bloodlines of the Luciferians, commonly known as the Illumanati, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Elitists. These people will play and are actively playing a major role in the end events, in that they are presently corrupting humanity, deceiving and bringing about the New World Order, by which the false prophet will step forward as the world leader. I even have his speech for you that he is going to mention at Brussels shortly, later this year. They are everywhere, people, globally, Hollywood, the banks, Pfizer, you name it, everywhere. Major corporations, the medical field, government offices, the music industry and media, United Nations, and even more. Jesus warned us, people. How much more clearly can that be? The false prophet is the son of the Nephilim. Satan, the serpent seed, he is here and is already made manifest. As I said earlier, 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3, at the apostasy, but he's been revealed, fully revealed, when Satan will come down on Mount Hermon, people. There he will be fully revealed, and given power, spewing fire from his mouth, causing miracles. Not the Antichrist that causing miracles. It's the false prophet. He will produce through he will be produced through the United Nations, who sits on top of Mount Hermon, waiting for the coming of Satan to be cast down through that portal. This Messiah is Satan's counterfeit for the real Messiah, Yeshua. People, give your life to Jesus. He is coming shortly. He is coming shortly. Share this video with each and every one. Love you all. Thanks for your support. Bless you all.